Hey guys, how's it going? Wow, it's just craziness everywhere. This is all signs pointing towards the end of time that's coming up. I know everyone says, "Oh, it's soon, it's soon." We've been saying it's soon for the past 2,000 years. But what the past 2,000 years didn't understand was that they were talking about zodiacal age. So right after Jesus died and Jesus says, "I'll return before the end of the age," he was referring to a zodiac precession of the equinox. He'll return after 2,100 years during the age of Aquarius. Jesus even says, when you see a man bearing a pitcher of water, follow him. And then it's the Last Supper, aka the end times. It's all metaphorical, different stuff. So, first of all, president of the past 4 years drops out, so his vice president has to run as a candidate for him, which is weird. Then we got the drones everywhere. I even saw a drone above my apartment in Texas. I don't know if it's tied to the other stuff or whatever, but it's just kind of annoying. I think the drones thing are just um, a pre-plan to kind of prep us for the UFOs coming. You know, they wanted to see what our reactions were to these mysterious objects. They obviously weren't aliens, but they're still unknown drones. Trump said he did know what they are, but the government won't tell us, whatever that means. And then, of course, we had the Cybertruck explosion in front of Trump's tower in Vegas. That was crazy, which is tied to the New Orleans ISIS driver who just drove into a bunch of people on Bourbon Street on New Year's. Um, I mean, all this stuff is all connected. It's all about domestic terrorism and cracking down and the New World Order beginning and having an excuse for martial law, that kind of stuff. And of course, the mass deportations. All the illegals are getting scared because that's happening in literally a week's time. January 20th, the first day, the inauguration. First day of the month of Aquarius, to be honest. That's when Aquarius starts. So it's all symbolic. Every presidential inauguration is symbolic of the end times, age of Aquarius coming. So yeah, I mean, it's not just Hispanic Mexicans, as Florida has a bunch of Cuban illegals, and of course the North that has various kinds of illegal drugs and stuff happening. So I mean, it's not racist to have a border, but you also shouldn't judge people by their race either. It's all about the law right now, um, because because we're under Jesus's grace and mercy right now, right? So this law is kind of a subconscious um, fulfillment of the law coming. Because right when Jesus' grace and mercy ends or whatever, the people who are raptured are raptured. Then the law is on you, you know. And law, the only cure for the law is death. Okay, there's no more mercy anymore. Anyway, then the Carolina hurricanes, horrific. 400 people died, but then the government just gave them $750 and a tent. But all these people in California are asking for millions and millions. Um, I'm not going to say anything about that. The California fires are horrific. Even if you're a rich person, you're a human being, and I'm sorry for everyone there, because not everyone who was there was rich. Um, and now the fire's not even just in the Palisades; it's in all these weird places, actually. So a lot of people think it's arson. I don't care what it is. I just know it's planned by God. It's planned by the system. It's planned by whatever end times um, people who are in charge. They either hired a bunch of people to start the fires, or they happen naturally because California has empty reservoirs everywhere. Like it was all accumulated to this. But anyway, I don't say anything bad about any of the victims. I just say bad about the government who allowed that kind of stuff, hiring lesbians over qualified people and fired over 100 male firemen because they refused to take the COVID vaccine. So they just lessened their workforce, lowered the standards just so they could say, um, I don't know, it's the DEI stuff, diversity, equity, inclusion. Other people say DEI means didn't earn it. Anyway, and then we have the Gaza-Israel crisis going on, and Russia-Ukraine's still a thing. These are the 10 horns of Revelation, the 10 kingdoms getting prepared to invade the daughter of Babylon, which is America. Okay, and then Canada, Poland, Hungary, and the UK are all shifting right wing too. It's like the Trump train is going around the world because he's doesn't want illegal immigrants running around, blah blah blah. That's all a scheme we already know. It's part of the Illuminati plan to make you seem all patriotic and full of hope again, when in fact it's just he's a patsy. Sorry, to say a putz. He's a putz and a patsy. Okay, he's put in there, just like the Illuminati card game show. Enough is enough. It's all meant to go according to this plan. Okay, all your patriotism is calculated. So yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. And then Greenland, Trump wants to buy Greenland because it's huge, and that'd be a crazy military force to have all our military ships up in Greenland. Their president is considering that. And Canada is even okay with being the 51st state because their crazy liberal Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is a complete idiot. Does all the same liberal policies that ruined America. And so, of course, Canada's fed up too with all that, corruption in the guise of political correctness and anti-racism. Well, look what it's got you. Okay, I mean, Canadians are fed up too. And again, these fires is just so sad. It's literally like 27 square miles, like twice, three times as big as the Great Chicago Fire 100 years ago. Okay, this is huge. And I'm surprised only 24 people have died from this. Like, for real. Not to mention all the poor animals who have no choice. But yeah, like, I think I read it was like 30% of the people who work for Hollywood or whatever were affected by this. So Hollywood is definitely going to be changing in the upcoming years. For better or worse, doesn't matter. It's just changing. So I was saying the left are slowly leaning right so that everyone can be on the same American page when the UFOs attack us. And they think Trump would be a better leader than Kamala Harris would have been. Like it's all setting up something, guys. So let's keep it up. I have Venus in Capricorn, Greek facial features, whoop de fucking do. And just as Shakespeare's time, or as we know, Francis Bacon. See, I'm trying to use a mic now. I got this from work, so I'm just going to use it for this. Just as Shakespeare was on the cusp of magic and science that time, early 1600s, so are we. We're now on the cusp of science and mysticism again. We're going back to mysticism. All this age of reason after the Renaissance. The Renaissance was about creativity and science and understanding the world. But now we've gone too materialistic and anti-mystical, anti-spiritual. So now we're going to go back to that. Well, the few people who are awake will go back to that. Science will still play their game because I don't hate science. I hate scientists because we can prove scientifically ESP is real. We can prove scientifically astrology is much more real than the Skeptic magazine wants to tell you. Know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just me. There's this great book. You can still get it at Barnes and Noble. It's called Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. Actually, I have it right here too. You can get it at Barnes and Noble. 25 bucks, or online, of course. And this guy, he he was in the military, and he exposes all the corruption and New World Order plans for the military. It even says someone who holds a sensitive army post is an admitted devil worshiper. And the army's like, that's fine. So that's just one small example. And he has a whole chapter, of course, on secret societies in the New World Order. And President Woodrow Wilson, aka Freemason, he said there's a power so organized, so subtle, so complete, so pervasive that they had better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation of it. So yeah, you're screwed. You'll get killed if you call them out. So don't take any oaths. And even Henry Kissinger, this piece of garbage, New World Order times a million. It says everything is going to be different. Many will suffer. A new world order will emerge. It'll be a much better world for those who survive, the elite. In the long run, life will be better. The world we have wanted will be reality. And that's scary that a top government official says that kind of stuff. Okay, let alone to have it recorded too. And this is interesting. This guy is saying JFK knew about the aliens and he was going to actually expose it a couple weeks after he was assassinated. And you could see John F. Kennedy was murdered by the Secret Service agent who drove his car. Now, of course, I can't show it on YouTube. You can find it on the internet of the JFK assassination. And yeah, I think it is the driver too. I don't think it's a lone gunman in the bushes. And definitely not John Wilkes Booth. Or who was that, Lincoln? I get those two confused all the time because all their similarities. But yeah, the driver is the one who killed Kennedy, not with a gun, but with like this crazy high technology thing that the government still won't let us have. Um, Yeah, and this is really interesting talking about, is it a fake invasion or is it real? Is it part of the end times, or is it planned? Like, this is the whole question us conspiracy people are trying to wrap our heads around. Scratch our head. Is this all planned by evil satanic Illuminati, or is it sealed by God? Because this is what the end times prophecies say would happen. Which one? Which one is it, guys? I still don't. I think it's both. I think God gives the kingdoms unto the beast until the word of God is fulfilled. That's what Revelation 17:17 says. Okay, here's just some words of wisdom. The Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching, where I get my username, Gadaoist, Taoism and guitarist. Duh. A man with outward courage dares to die. A man with inner courage dares to live. It's like, sure, you can go get yourself killed in war, but don't you want to fight the inner battle too? Because that's harder, because you have to face your soul and not just a bunch of people with guns. Immanuel Kant. I usually don't like Kant that well, but he's got some good ideas, of course. One of the founders of metaphysics, in the 1700s at least. All false art, all vain wisdom lasts its time, but finally destroys itself. And its highest culture is also the epoch of its decay. So yeah, same be real, be true. Don't don't put out fake, because then you won't be remembered and it won't matter, because if you know, like smells like knows like. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck. If it doesn't, just like Alan Watts, I think he's overrated. And many other Capricorns, as you know. Aristotle, where your talents and the needs of the world cross, there lies your vocation. Well, what if my talent is calling out how evil and dumb and conspiratorial the world is? How are you going to get paid by the world to tell the world it's a dumbass? You know, it's kind of weird. Anyway, just a couple thoughts. Like, this was mainly just about, like, yeah, happy 2025, dudes. Like, this is going to be, it's just going to get crazier. If you thought last year was crazy, hold your horses. Or as Sam Jackson says, hold on to your butts. Okay, I don't know what else to tell you except this is all supposed to happen. And again, I'm so sorry for all the victims in California. I actually have an uncle who lives in Santa Monica, a little south of that, but he said he's fine. So I was like, thank God. And then I have other family in Northern California, so but they're fine. It's just crazy. And we shouldn't be um, we should put blames on the politicians, but yes, those people voted those politicians in just so they could think they're doing the right thing. That's what's problem with liberals. They think they're doing the right thing and they think they're going against racism and bigotry, but that's what Satan wants you to think. Satan comes as an angel, uh, disguised as an angel of light. He wants to make you think you're supposed to vote for him or you're the evil one. Okay? That's why Santa Claus, Satan Claus, um, he's all holly jolly whatever, disguising himself as an angel of light and just distracting people from Christianity, the real Christianity. Not that Jesus was born December 25th in the first place. But anyway, we all know this stuff. Um, However, we all you can do is spread the truth and keep on keeping on. Um, I don't, it's just, what else can you do? The news, it's all crazy right now. All this stuff is happening all at once. It's almost like the last 4 years were just about how woke everything got. And this next 4 years is actually important shit. Like actually, okay, there's mass natural disasters and there's countries at wars. What does the Bible say? If there's war, talk of wars. If there's various weird weather in diverse places, this is it. This is what is happening. We need to zoom out and say, oh crap, the Bible's real. And like I tell everyone, if this stuff wasn't happening, if the world wasn't a complete mess, then God doesn't exist, or at least not the biblical God. Because all this crazy stuff is happening, everyone's like, where's God? Oh God. God says this would happen. During the end times, you can't pray to end the end times. I've said that 100 times. You cannot pray to end the end times. Dear God, please make the book of Revelation not be true. That's what you want, right? You want everything to be happy, jolly, go lucky, Garden of Eden. No, we already failed the Garden of Eden test. The next Garden of Eden is the new heaven, and it's not in this physical realm, I'll tell you that. Okay? At the end, it says, "Woe to the world and those who stayed. Woe to the inhabitants of earth." Does that sound like heaven is coming down to earth? No. Your soul is what you need to work on. Work on your treasures in heaven, not your treasures on earth. All your stuff that could get burned away in a moment's notice. Even though I'd be terribly sad if I lost all my books, my guns, my guitars, my computer, you know, like I can't imagine losing everything, especially my books. Like my car would just be filled with books, um, and like maybe two pairs of clothes. Like fuck clothes, maybe 10 pairs of underwear. I don't know. But anyway, like again, I can't imagine. I hope all the animals. I feel sorry most for the animals because they didn't vote for that. But the Democrats in California did. Even though I feel sorry for you, I feel sorry for you mentally too for allowing people to vote based on their gender, their race, or their sexual orientation rather than their merit. And now you can see what the outcome of that is now. Take care.